5G transmission, the final assault. I've taken this story from New Dawn magazine. I recommend everybody go out and buy the magazine. I'll leave a link down below to their webpage. Check it out. Support the people who support free thinking and expansion of your own mind. Stop reading newspapers. Read one of these magazines once a month. New Dawn. Again, check out the link in my comments. But let's go into this 5G. The new 5G that's about to be pushed upon us. And once it's up and running, there's not going to be much we're going to be able to do about it. So you better start protesting now and start exposing the truth on how dangerous it is. In November last year, 2018, the United States Federal Communications Commission, FCC, authorized the rocket company SpaceX, owned by entrepreneur Elon Musk, to launch a fleet of 7,518 satellites to complete SpaceX's ambitious scheme to provide global satellite broadband services to every corner of the Earth. Sounds great, but let's read on. The satellites will operate at a height of approximately 210 miles and irradiate the Earth with extremely high frequencies between 37.5 GHz and 42 GHz. This fleet will be in addition to a smaller SpaceX fleet of 4,425 satellites already authorized earlier last year by the FCC, which will orbit the Earth at a height of approximately 750 miles and is set to bathe us in frequencies between 12 GHz and 30 GHz. The grand total of SpaceX satellites is thus projected to reach just under 12,000. 12,000 satellites in space frying us. Other companies include Boeing, OneWeb and Spire Global are each launching their own smaller fleets, bringing the total number of projected new broadband satellites to around 20,000. Every one of them dedicated to irradiating the Earth at similar frequencies. We're going to be fried 24 hours a day. Day and night, that's right. You're going to be under this consistent microwaving. Do we need progress that bad we're prepared to live in a microwave? Think of it this way. Put something in a microwave at home. What lives? Nothing. Ah, cockroaches. But that's what it's like. We're going to be in a consistent microwave. Everything is going to be affected. Cancers, humanity. But every living thing, including plants, are going to be affected by this consistent microwaving they're about to put upon us. The introduction of 5G will also require hundreds of thousands of new mini mobile masts. So hundreds, they got 20,000 or so more satellites in space, there's going to be, and hundreds of thousands of mini masts all around us to give us better frequency, better receptions. We're going to be fried at every corner, and these masts will be set at around 100 meters apart. Where was I? Thousands of new mini mobile masts, also referred to as microcells or base stations, in urban centres throughout Australia, and literally millions of new masts in cities throughout the rest of the world, all emitting radiation at frequencies and at power levels far higher than those to which we are presently subjected. Everyone knows someone right now who's had cancer. When these things come out, I think everyone's going to have lived with somebody who's died of cancer. Waves and frequencies. Explain here how we're going from a centimetre wavelength to that millimetre microwaving wavelength. You might have all seen it, a wine glass under a high frequency. The wine glass shatters because of the frequency. The vibration is so high and fast for that wine glass it cannot exist, it just shatters. Could we be the same with this new millimetre wavelength that's coming upon us? At present, mobile phones, smartphones, tablets, Wi-Fi and so on all operate under 3 GHz in what is called the microwave region of the electromagnetic spectrum. If you could see and measure their wavelengths, you would find that they are many centimetres or inches long. A smartphone operating at 800 megahertz, for example, sends and receives signals with wavelengths of 37.5 centimeters. Operating at 1.9 gigahertz, the wavelengths are 16 centimeters. Wi-Fi uses 2.4 gigahertz frequency band with 12 centimeter wavelengths. The introduction of 5G will entail the use of considerably higher frequencies than these, with correspondingly shorter wavelengths. Above 30 gigahertz, wavelengths are just millimeters rather than centimeters long. The millimeter wave band from 30 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz is referred to as extremely high frequency, and its wavelengths are between 10 millimeters and 1 millimeter in length. That is really going to be, that is an extremely high frequency we're talking here. Can our human body absorb that? Problem shooting. One of the technical problems of using frequencies in the high millimeter region of the spectrum is that because the waves carrying the data are so tiny, being only millimeters long, they are less able to pass through physical barriers like walls and trees than are the longer waves or lower frequencies. This is why it is necessary to have so many more new microcells or base stations. They will need to be spaced at 100 meters apart in cities because beyond this distance their signals are weakened and are therefore less able to penetrate buildings and connect with the devices inside. Let's go back to that again. They are less able to pass through physical barriers like walls and trees because of their wavelengths. Is that not giving us maybe a secret how to protect ourselves? Grow more trees. Don't let them knock all our trees down. But that's for their excuse for putting them every 100 meters to make sure we are consistently fried and we can't even get away from it in the cities and everywhere else. But it sounds like maybe we can protect ourselves a bit. They sound like they might be easy to remove, knock down, shoot down, whatever it's going to take. Because when people are dying of these things, aren't people going to want them removed? Aren't people going to go to desperate measures to save their families when these things are next to their houses? And what's going to happen to these people? They'll probably be thrown in a FEMA camp, F-E-M-A, because the jails will be full, because everyone's going to be trying to stop these masks. Do your research on FEMA. Why are they upgrading the Sydney stadiums right now, spending billions of dollars? They can't pack stadiums now. Why are they upgrading? Why are they putting all this new high-tech surveillance for these new stadiums? Are they going to be future FEMA camps? Is this new microwave going to be sending people crazy? If not crazy, just normal people trying to protect themselves and stop their loved ones from dying from this high frequency. That's why I believe they're doing up Sydney stadiums. They're doing a FEMA camp, getting it ready for FEMA. Let's go on. Let's stick with this 5G transmission and how they say it's safe. The unreassuring assurances of government and industry. The government body charged with advising on the health effects of electromagnetic radiation, the Australian Radiation Protection and Nuclear Safety Agency, seeks to reassure us that there is no established evidence that radio frequency radiation, which radio, television, mobile phones, smartphones and 5G or use, has any adverse health effects on either adults or children. So rest assured, it's safe, my ass. This story also goes on to explain health and safety simply did not feature in government thinking, despite a veritable mountain of literally thousands of research papers demonstrating adverse health effects, which continues to grow at a rate of roughly 350 per year. On average, practically one every day. One of the reasons for ignoring this evidence in the hell for leather dash to create the 5G electronic ecosystem is the conviction of government circles that unless we introduce it immediately, we will be left behind and our economic growth and competitiveness will be put at risk. There is simply no time to consider the possible health consequences. The rewards of the connected future are to be measured in billions of dollars. That's right, billions. So money is far more important than life. I'd rather be, quote unquote, left behind than dead. Well, that's part of a massive story they got here. As I said, I recommend everybody go and get the magazine. You got to read this story for yourself. It's a really easy read. Here it says the millimeter wave antenna array module for the 5G smartphone. It has 4 antennas that can accurately point towards the nearest 5G base station. As I said, they're going to be 100 meters apart. Phones will have 4 of these modules, i.e. 16 antennas. 16 antennas in the one phone. Awesome, you'll get reception. You know, cell tower disguised as a tree. I mean, these things are everywhere. They're on your street corners, on street signs. They'll be on the shop fronts. You're not going to get away from it. We're going to be fried. It's a big story, like I said, in this magazine. Here's another example. There's some on your power poles. Do something now. Speak up. New Dawn magazine references where they get all the information, so you can research it all in far more depth than the story here. Again, I recommend this magazine. They've even got a good story on what they found here. Fossilized non-humans. So there it is, 5G, do something now or die later, or watch your family die later. It's going to be that bad. And if you do defend yourself later, it's okay. We've got FEMA camps already built to stick you in.